So this video is a PSA for everybody. When you see a bottle of whiskey that you want, buy it. Doesn't matter if you're in some other state and you're gonna have to fly home and now you have to check a bag or something like that. I saw this bottle of whiskey recently when I was back west and I didn't buy it because I thought, oh, I'll just buy it when I get home. And I've been to like 10 or 11 liquor stores here in the Tampa Bay recently and I've not been able to find this bottle. I stopped at 7 liquor stores today. I told Mrs. Captain I went out for a part for the car and I did. But I also stopped at 7 other liquor stores on the way there. I was very frustrated because from the little stores to the big stores, nobody had this bottle. And I stopped at this last store that I pretty much have given up on because they never have anything that I want. And when they do, it's at inflated prices. And lo and behold, they had the Knob Creek 10-year rye. I've been looking for this ever since I realized it was out. Was happy to pick one up today. So let's go through the specs and stats and then get it. First, let's go ahead and open it. It was only about 1.5 years ago, 2 years now, that I opened my first bottle of Knob Creek. I actually watched a YouTube on how to open Knob Creek with the tab. I was just, I had no clue, no idea. There we go. This is a Jim Beam glass, which is appropriate for tonight's pour. All right. Okay, specs and stats for the Knob Creek 10-year rye. Well, we don't know. Mash bill, undisclosed. They don't tell us. I'm sure it's a Kentucky-style rye, meaning we're talking 51% or very near thereabouts, maybe slightly above that of rye, and then a huge amount of corn, and then some malted barley. Probably the same mash bill as Jim Beam rye, all the Knob Creek ryes, even the old Overholt ryes as well. All right, Knob Creek rye. I pay $69.99 for this. I think that's slightly above MSRP, but that's pretty standard because the grocery store, liquor store that I bought this at, it's very near the beach here in the Tampa Bay, and they kind of have beach prices. But I was happy to find it, and I was happy to pay. I don't think it's that much above MSRP, if really at all. And this was the last bottle on the shelf. I think the word is that it's going to be a shelf-stable type product, kind of like the Jack Daniels, the single barrel proof rye that came out. Man, it took me forever to find the first bottle of that, and now every store that I walk in has multiple bottles of that on the shelf. So without even having had any of this, my only knock on it is going to be that it's only 100 proof. I do wish it was more, like say 120 proof, like the Knob Creek Brew Rye that just came out, but hopefully that 10-year age statement will make up for that lack of proof. Well, let's get it and find out. And I would be interested to know if you have had any of this, what your thoughts are on the Knob Creek 10-year rye. I describe myself more as a rye guy than a bourbon guy, but I'm happy to drink whatever is in a glass in front of me, but I'll take a rye any day. I cut my teeth on High West ryes, so that 95.5 MGP, the 80-20 High West rye, that was my introduction to rye. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? I leave Mormonism, I started drinking, I was drinking whiskey for 3 years before I had my first beer. True story. Anyway, ryes. I think Jim Beam's products, and I said this on the Brew Rye as well, that they just came out with the Knob Creek. I feel like in general, Knob Creek and Jim Beam products have a softer nose, and this is going along with that. I feel like some products, man, it just blows you away. Think about the Jack Daniels single barrel proofs, and even just some High West ryes, even with the lower proof, they still just come more aggressive. It's just very soft. It's nice, just caramel, a little citrusy. It's just soft and welcoming. There's no hint of proof on there. Some brown sugar. It's a very welcoming. There's not a whole lot of spice coming off, but of course it's only 51%, maybe rye. We don't even know. Knob Creek. I don't do a lot of Jim Beam ryes. In fact, I don't even have a Jim Beam rye right now since I finished that pre-Prohibition style rye. I haven't even replaced that bottle The one rye that came out recently from, well, there have been some couple of Jim Beam product ryes, and we'll go through those in a bit. But the regular Knob Creek and Jim Beam rye, I just don't drink a whole lot of that. It's like buttery, smooth on the nose. It's very welcoming. It's an easy nose. It's pleasant. Makes me want to sip some there. Maybe just a hint of mint. Definitely is not. Definitely is. If you're an MGP rye kind of guy, this is not your jam. Let's go. Knob Creek 10-year rye. Okay. There comes the rye. Just a bit of that rye spice, but it's backed up with that sugar, brown sugar note, and some citrus on there. Some rye spice, some brown sugar, some citrus. Maybe some anise, definitely some oak and some oak spice going on there. It's a good balance of sweetness and some spice. It's not overpowering. That 100 proof makes it really nice and an easy sipper. It's not unlike that Boo Rye I just had, or the Knob Creek Bourbon Times Rye, Bourbon and Rye, the Knob Creek Boo Rye. I thought that was a really, really nice pour, and but so far this is pretty good. Maybe a hint of some chocolate in the back. It's a nice mouthfeel. It's not really viscous, but it has some texture to it and some weight. Definitely, like if you take the Jim Beam rye, this is definitely a couple steps well above that. I would say it's very good, not quite excellent or awesome, but it's definitely a very good rye. I think it has perhaps a bit hurt by 100 proof, could be a little higher, especially for 70 bucks. But overall, I do really like it. It's a little weightier as well than, say, the 7-year rye. So is this the best rye that's come out? It's not the best rye that's come out this year. Is it the best Jim Beam rye? So Jim Beam, you know, the Overholt line, the Knob Creek line, the Jim Beam line. Is it even the Booker's Little Book? Is it the best rye that's come out? I'm not even going to say it's the best Jim Beam rye. So let's go a couple comparisons. Of course, we have the 7-year Knob Creek rye, and the age just gives a little more weightiness to this 10-year, and makes it a superior pour to this 7-year. But let's compare it to one of my favorite Jim Beam ryes that I purchased early or mid last year. And that is the Old Overholt, also a 10-year rye, but this is cask strength. And that just gives it a nice, just a nice kick. It's 121 proof, I believe. What a bomb of a rye this is. I really enjoy the ride of this rye. If you can find a 10-year Knob Creek rye, that is a great whiskey. I am happy to have that. I'm glad that I stopped at that last store today. It's okay that I passed this up in Utah and didn't pick it up there. I'm fine with that now. Didn't have to bring it home. And I think if you see it on the shelf for 70 bucks, it is a great pour, and I think you should pick it up. All right, my guys, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to see more of my content. You can do both whiskey and book reviews, but for now, my friends, you know what to do. I hope you're reading something good and drinking something great. Turn the page and stay thirsty. Cheers.